Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Giada at Harper Therapy today with.
Tony.
We are coming live today to share with you a topic that is close to our hearts, a topic that brings up a lot of conversation and a lot of worries this time of the
Mm-hmm.
year. And it's addressing the elephant in the room, and it's talking about domestic violence during the holidays. Um, have you ever felt that you're tiptoeing around topics? Have you ever felt that you're censoring yourself during conversations? Or that you make a statement and you immediately look at your partner to see what his or her reaction
Mm-hmm.
is going to be? Do you find yourself making excuses to not go to get togethers with healthy, emotionally healthy friends or family members?
And just feel
Um,
yourself pulling away from those friends or having to make excuses for your spouse or partner because, oh, they just had a bad day. That's why they
mhm.
said that. Or they've been, work is really stressful because it's the holidays. Just making up different excuses for your
Yeah.
spouse.
If you also find yourself hiding bruises, even having intercourse without having a desire to be intimate with your partner, I think this live is going to speak to you. And I hope that if it does, you'll find some food for thought. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Domestic violence is also known as intimate partner violence, and it tends to increase a lot during the holidays. There are financial
Yep.
stressors, people trying to figure out how we're going to buy presents, what are we going to do, what parties are we going to, the kids. So, knowing that there is an external stressor that really triggers that
Mm-hmm.
aggressive person in the relationship increases the episodes of domestic violence at home.
Well, and I think that it's also when maybe it just started out where they would say mean things or they would just where you didn't really want to call it DV because you didn't feel you didn't have the bruises, you
Mm-hmm.
didn't have marks. Maybe you got into fights and they make you feel small, but that's not DV.
Mm-hmm.
Where now during the holidays it will escalate where maybe they will leave bruises
Yeah.
or they'll leave more harsher like bruises with the words that they're saying, things
Yeah.
like that.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because domestic violence is not just the grabbing, the hitting, the pushing. It's the demeaning and degrading comments. You're stupid. How could you do this? What are you? And then using all this plethora of horrible, horrible name calling. So stressors, financial stressors are one.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is the holiday time is a time where people are given permission to drink. So people that imbibe in the spirits tend to lose filter of what they're saying, how they're saying it, and in front of who they're saying it.
Mm-hmm.
So that also makes somebody be more rash verbally, physically, emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
and sexually. Um, the other thing that happens during that loss of filter is the respect of personal space. And that's when we start seeing, like, why are you moving back from your partner because you know that your partner tends to be reactive. So we see that a lot. The big danger of domestic violence is that during the holidays we tend to take breaks, and usually you're in close quarters with the perpetrator of the abuse. Your partner is there at home, the kids are there at home. There's usually family staying over, so it's a very fine line to walk through. And as part of today's live, we wanted to kind of share with everybody what the cycle of domestic violence looks like, because people just think it's
If you don't have bruises, there needs to be
exactly
some kind of proof, and that's I think it was that made that that
on
series made on Netflix
Netflix. Yes.
where they talk about that you don't go out on your first date and they hit you and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is going to be a bad relationship. It doesn't start out like that. It
Mm-hmm.
starts out with all the nice things and all the words, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, I don't really see my friends so much, and then all of a sudden you're not seeing your family so much, and then all of a
I
sudden
don't have
you're stay
access
at
to the
home and
account.
right, you don't
Mm-hmm.
have you lose your phone, whatever. You slowly, and it might be over years,
Mm-hmm.
you slowly lose your sense of self. And those are some of the signs that I think people don't recognize as starting the cycle of domestic violence.
Yeah. And with that in mind, then what does that cycle of domestic violence look like? So we start with the tension building. Like your everyday interactions start being more tense. You're walking on eggshells. You're trying to kind of protect a fragile ego from the other person in the home, even to your expense or to the expense of your children if you have children. Then the second step of the cycle is the incident, whether it's the big fight, the breaking of the plates, the pushing, shoving, the sexual assault, because that happens in relationships. People
Even
do not identify.
Married, you can be sexually assaulted by your husband.
Yeah. Or
your wife,
your partner. So knowing that, then comes the step of reconciliation. It's like, I'm so sorry. I should have never done this. But if you had been this way, I wouldn't have lost my head. So there's what now is commonly known as gaslighting. It's like, I did it, but you did something.
It was your fault because I did it because it was your fault. You made me do this.
Yeah. If you were more easygoing, or if you would listen the first time, then I wouldn't have to do it. So the reconciliation is what I usually feel like a vague or fake apology. And then comes the calmness, which is the honeymoon phase, which is when the perpetrator turns into the charismatic, sweet, loving person that you fell in love with the first time around. And it's really hard to remember the pain of what you just went through when that person is being the ideal partner, and the promises are there. I promise I'll never do this again. But then we go back to the tension building, and then the incident, and just round and round. One of the things that we want to share with everybody watching this today is that being in a relationship where there is domestic violence does not mean that you're weak, or that you are stupid, or that you are frail. No. It happens no matter your education, no matter your socioeconomic status, race, gender, religion. This is happening across the board in many homes in our own neighborhood. So I want to have that message. This is not your fault. Let's be clear about that. And if they find themselves in that situation, there are several things you can do. There's always the National Domestic Violence Center, and their number is really easy to remember. It's 800-799-SAFE. And when you are ready to start talking about what's going on at home, give Harper Therapy a call. We will be here to help you through the aftermath of a relationship where there is domestic violence.
And trying to figure that out, and how scary that can be.
Yeah.
Because part of that is then during that calm, or even like just before the calm, when you're like, well, maybe I do need to get out of this. That's a lot of work. So then the calm comes, and it's, well, it's okay, it's better. So that's, when you're ready to kind of see what your other options are, how you can feel better about yourself, because sometimes that's the barrier, is this person has said such horrible things to you, you feel like you could never make it without them. That's a popular saying. Give us a call at Harper Therapy, because we will help walk you through whatever decision you want to make.
Yeah. Our number is 813-434-3639, and let us at Harper Therapy be your home for hope, growth, and healing. With that said, stay safe during the holidays. Reach out to therapists if you need to. We are all here to support people during this time. And if this live touched you, if it just made you think about things and dynamics that are taking place in your life, take a moment, think about it. And once again, we're here. Give us a call. Thank you, Tony.
Thanks.
Have a great day, everybody.
Happy holidays, guys.
Bye-bye.